I want to talk about a serious topic today: men dealing with a miscarriage. Now, a miscarriage is a spontaneous termination of a pregnancy, meaning it happens without our intervention. I've received a few emails and comments lately from men asking how they can deal with the miscarriage, but also how can they support their partner with the loss of the pregnancy. If you watch my videos regularly, you know that I typically prefer to talk from experience, and I combine that with the education and the research that I do. But for this topic, my wife and I did not experience a miscarriage. However, I wanted to provide some advice or some information because of the requests that I've been getting. I have dealt with grief and the loss of people close to me, and it hurts. It hurts a lot. So in addition to my own experience with grief, I wanted to get some feedback from men who have experienced miscarriages. And so I reached out to my community and asked for some feedback. So the advice in this video is collectively the feedback of these men who have experienced miscarriage, as well as any insight that I could add as it relates to grief. If you are dealing with this, I know it can be very difficult. I hope that this video can help you. Hey guys, I'm Jason KREIDMAN, creator of the Dad University Parenting Program. I work with dads to help them gain more confidence in their parenting, learn effective discipline strategies, and strengthen the connection with their families. I'm going to go over the advice of dealing with a miscarriage. Some of it is going to help you personally, and then I'll also go over some tips on how you can help and support your partner. Number one, feel the feelings. You may have a lot of emotions going through you right now. Anger, sadness, frustration. There's probably too many to name. Just know that they are all valid. Give yourself permission to feel, and know that feeling those feelings is a good thing. Us men sometimes think that not showing emotion is a requirement for being a strong man. And if being a strong man is what you are after, I'm not sure where this started, but you can still show and feel your emotions and be a strong man. You are not going to get your man card taken away. If anything, your partner is going to appreciate the idea that you are feeling and showing the emotion. When I went to grief counseling, the counselors actually had me relive and visualize the loss that I was dealing with over and over again. It was a little strange and painful, but I can tell you that as I began to feel those feelings over and over, the acute pain that I was feeling was reduced. It is healthier for us to get the emotions out rather than keeping them inside. And I know for me, getting these emotions out was what put me on the path to healing. Number two, everyone processes loss differently. While I'm offering some tips that have worked for other men, just know that there is no right or wrong way to grieve. Your partner may process the miscarriage totally different than you do. Of course, you don't want to process the feelings in a dangerous way. I mean, that's hurting yourself or others. But other than that, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. Some men indicated that keeping busy and finding hobbies and hanging out with friends and just keeping themselves busy constantly was a way to cope with the loss. While for others, they just wanted to be alone. They didn't want to deal with other people. And so you have to find what works for you and what feels good for you to be on the process of healing. Building upon that is number three, don't judge or criticize. Now this means don't judge or criticize the way that your partner is handling the situation, but also for yourself. Don't judge and criticize the way that you are handling it. And as it relates to your partner, this is probably some of the strongest feedback that I received from these men. Because there is no right or wrong way to grieve, and you may do things completely differently than she does, you do not get to say or do anything unless it is supporting her. As the old saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You are better off saying nothing and just being silent rather than saying something that you might regret. So don't judge or criticize how she handles the situation. What you can do is number 4, be empathetic. This means put yourself in her place and look at this miscarriage from her perspective. Try to understand, what is it like being her and going through this? It is impossible for us as men to imagine exactly what it's like to feel and experience a miscarriage. But we can do our best to try to be there to understand and listen to her so that we can see it from her perspective and be empathetic. Being empathetic is going to help us connect and help us support her. Empathy is the most powerful tool when it comes to relationships. Whether it is our partner, our family, our friends, or even coworkers, using empathy can help us feel connected and can help the other person feel understood. Important attributes of empathy are listening and understanding. What's not included is number 5, don't try to fix it. This was really powerful with the men that I spoke to. Many of them tried to give advice or tried to give recommendations on how their partner can deal with it better. That's not going to work. What you want to do is simply be empathetic, as I mentioned, but do not try to fix it. She doesn't want your advice. She doesn't want your opinion. She doesn't want your recommendations. If she does want those, she will ask for it. So unless she explicitly asks for your opinion on the matter, do not give her your opinion or your suggestions. Number 6, no blame allowed. Regardless of the situation or what happened, nobody is to blame. This means you blaming her, she blaming you, you blaming yourself, and she blaming herself. Nobody is to blame for this situation. Many men indicated that their partners blamed themselves for the situation for many different reasons. But it was important for them to make sure that their partner knew that there was nobody to blame. Their partner often thought that they could have done something differently or acted in a different way and somehow caused this situation to happen. And that simply was not the case. When negative things happen in our lives, we often try to figure out, what happened, why did it happen, and so that we can go back in our minds and think, could I have done something differently, or what did I do to possibly cause this? And when it comes to miscarriage, it is said that typically there is nothing else you could have done. It is not the cause of something that you did or something that you didn't do. It is something that simply happened. Number 7, you are not alone. While this is a very difficult situation, it's difficult to talk about, many of the men indicated that they felt like they were alone. And part of that was that they had not talked about it. Once that they talked about it and opened up about their situation, they realized that there was so many other people who have had experienced this. There's some statistics that range from 10 to 20%. I even saw 25% of all pregnancies experience a miscarriage. Now, many of those statistics are clinically documented miscarriages. In other words, the woman went into the doctor, and so that miscarriage was documented. The numbers could be even higher, as early miscarriages can happen before the woman even goes into the doctor. So that miscarriage isn't even documented with the doctor's office. Some of the men had discussed that they experienced miscarriages multiple times. Now, many of the stories had a happy ending, with them ultimately having a child, even after having miscarried multiple times. And so it depends on your own situation, whether you're going to continue to try and have a child or not. That's an individual decision that you and your partner get to make. Whether it's your friends, online support groups, or there's even a website, miscarriageformen.com, all of these are doing great work to support men in these kinds of situations. A big part of the problem is that we just don't talk about these kinds of things. And so for many men, a miscarriage is devastating, and yet they suffer in silence. Just know that you don't have to suffer in silence. It is okay to talk about it, and it is okay to get support and help around this. Talk to the people around you. If you don't feel that you can talk to anyone, then I would suggest seeking professional assistance and talk with a therapist or counselor who can help you through it. It's important that we end the stigma related to miscarriage, and this is for both men and women. Nobody should have to suffer in silence. It should be okay to talk about, and it should be okay that we can help each other through these kinds of situations. I do hope this video provides help to anybody who needs it. If you have any feedback, please feel free to comment below. If you got value from this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell so you know when our videos are uploaded. If you know anybody that can benefit from this video, please share it with them. We'll see you next time.